And there's some minimum fees recently. I know you changed a few of them. They're somewhat controversial. One of the cabbies said that he was glad you went to the daytime charge was minimum £10, which you jumped from 5, and then the nighttime is a minimum £15.
Yeah.
Now, you've had some press about that. What do you say about those fees? Why are those necessary?
Okay, so if you imagine at the moment we're oversupplied. I mean, people just love the app. They just want to use it to get taxis. So it comes to a stage where we was getting not so much feedback from drivers, but we're very data orientated now. So we can tell when people use it, how many people use it, how much they pay at certain times and stuff like that. So it got to a stage where, for the sake of losing probably the 5 or 10% at the bottom, which was doing jobs less than £10, now the people at the top who not saying at the top spending more money, but the people who couldn't get a cab, who was willing to spend more than £10, couldn't get a cab. Now, if I use an app and I say it's going to cost me £10 and I decide not to use it, that's my choice. But if I press the button and I can't get a taxi, then I'm just going to go use Addison Lee, or I'm going to go use another taxi firm, or use other companies that are going to come in and supply you with that service. So it was a decision to, not for the good of just the company, but the good of the drivers and the good of the customers. Because if you press a button and you don't get a taxi, then there's nothing worse.
I don't have a problem with that minimum price. If you really need a taxi, you're just like, I need it now.
Yeah. Exactly.
But have you had some problems with that? I know have people complained. Have you lost any business?
To be honest, we'd done the data, so we knew we'd lose a tiny minority of business, but we gained it from the top end. So completed jobs is actually more than it used to be, because now more people are getting in black taxis and not trying to use other services. So as it worked, yeah. If we find out it's not and the data says differently, then we're big and brave enough to go back. I don't think we will, but...
Have you done that in other countries as well?
With a minimum fare?
Yeah.
We don't have such... I think in the other countries we have a tipping problem.
Okay.
Because in North America, everyone tips.
Right.
Where maybe they don't tip as much in app because it's easier to just walk away without a tip. But so if we need to, then we will. But we'll do the data and we'll make it the best for customers, drivers and ourselves.
Let's talk about HSBC. It's an $8 billion money laundering operation for Mexican drug lords that they've been directly responsible for 60,000 decapitations in the last few years. So who's a terrorist, buddy? Who's a terrorist?
Hey, I'm not on the CIA.
Who's a terrorist? Who's the terrorist here?
Be careful,
But
Max.
look,
I'll jump all
let
over you.
so 39 cents to send $150 million. Now the cheapest any bank can offer that service of all the money center banks is $200,000. So, I mean, how are you going to compete with that? You can't.